Hello, and welcome back to Guided Souls. I'm your host, Katie, and I'm so excited to be back here for another week with you guys. This week, we have sort of a big topic that I am going to try to do justice, but I want to talk about how to cultivate a feeling of oneness with the universe. And what that means to me is how to feel like you are not just your own soul being, which is how we feel so often, but to feel like you are connected and one with anything and everything that has ever existed and is currently existing. And you may be thinking, like, why would I even want to feel that way? And to that, I would say, when you stop feeling like it is you against the world and you start feeling like it is you that is a part of this beautiful world and we're all interwoven together, you will feel so much less hate and frustration with people and feeling like people owe you things, and you will start just moving from a place of love. And truly, that's what this feeling of oneness is. It is this feeling of unconditional love for yourself, for the world, for the people in the world, for the universe. And when you're like plugged into that energy of oneness and unconditional love, you are unstoppable. And you are also deeply at peace, because being at peace, having a peaceful life, does not mean that everything in your life goes according to plan. We all have very difficult struggles in life. We all struggle with different things, and we are meant to struggle with those things. And how we cultivate peace is not by making sure that those things don't happen. It's making sure that we know that when those things come in, we are so grounded and centered within ourselves, and we know that everything is happening for us, that there is nothing that can make that peace waver. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Again, I know it's like a very big topic, but in a way, I kind of feel like this entire evolution of this podcast for almost the past year is leading up to this moment. Like every topic, every struggle, everything fits into this topic, and it's kind of like the culmination of many different things. And so I'm going to talk about it in a number of different ways to try and, make sure that it's resonating with people. So if one doesn't resonate with you, keep listening, and there may be a different concept that resonates a little bit more. But for me, this was like I had all the puzzle pieces, kind of like I had them all together out in front of me, but I couldn't see the bigger picture. And so when I zoomed out and was able to see that this was the bigger picture, everything made so much sense to me. And that does not mean that I have everything figured out all of a sudden. That does not mean that I will never get lost or stumble or anything like that. Quite the contrary. But it does mean that I have this peace and this calm of feeling like everything is so divinely orchestrated, not just for me, but for everyone, and that we are all a part of this together. So something that I said probably about a month or two ago, I think it was in my ego deaths episode, was something that I struggle with is that I want to give and give and give. I want to love big. I want to give people all my love. But then if I feel like it isn't reciprocated on the same level as what I'm giving, I get frustrated. I get resentful. I feel like people don't care about me. I push people away. And it kind of defeats the purpose of giving to someone if you are only like happy to give based on their reaction to you. Like that's not giving, that's you looking to receive from that person. And so I realized in the course of that ego death that, I love so big, and the answer is not for me to love any less, but it's to recognize that I am meant to just give love to the people and beings around me, and the universe in turn will like pour light into me. I don't have to worry about, getting things back from the people in my life. I will be getting things, from the universe and from the creator. And so that was a concept that just was given to me from my spirit team. And then I recently started studying Kabbalah, and I'll put the link down below to it in case you're interested in learning more about it. If this episode really amps you up, I am like, a lot of what I'm going to say is sort of based on some fundamental Kabbalistic concepts, although I am definitely saying them in my own terms. So I will link that below in case you're interested in learning more about that. Not sponsored or anything, but really one of the main things that they teach in Kabbalah is all we are meant to do is to give. We are not meant to be looking to receive from anyone. The only thing that we need to do is to give, and we will receive love and light and all of these things from the creator. So it was kind of interesting and cool that my spirit team like gave me that download. And then I was also guided to study this framework of spirituality, where that is like one of the main pillars of it, is just being able to give without expecting to receive. And if that feels triggering to you, I totally understand that. And like, the only reason I'm able to speak on any of these things is because I've been on the other side of it many, many times. As I said, this is something that I've struggled with a lot. So please don't feel like you're being attacked if you are someone who gives and then gets upset when you don't feel like you're getting something in return. But I think we have this tendency as human beings to feel like, well, I want to make sure that I'm not being taken advantage of, and I want to be appreciated and respected. And yes, all of that is true. I don't think that you should be around people who disrespect you or anything like that. And you don't want to be that person that just like gives out of like martyrdom almost, and you lose yourself in it. But it's almost like we shouldn't worry about other people's ends of the bargain. Like, we shouldn't be focused on what other people are going to give us in return. We should just give from the goodness of our heart and for loving people, knowing that whether it comes back from that person specifically, or a different person, or a different opportunity, or just from the creator, the universe, spirit themselves, we will receive that love back, and we will receive it on a level that is divinely meant for us. And when you are giving and expecting to receive something back from someone, you really aren't giving, you are looking to receive. You are taking energy from them, and that isn't loving. And I think that's something that I've struggled with in this work a lot, is feeling like sometimes it feels like everyone wants a piece of me, and they want me to, they'll email me, can you tell me more about my grandfather? I saw this reading of yours, or DM me or something like that. And it used to be really triggering for me. I think I've even said this on here, like, I'm giving you a free reading on TikTok. Isn't that enough? Why do you need more from me? Why do you feel like it's okay to reach out to me and ask for more? And like, that's not, like, on my part, that's not a loving place. I'm not coming towards people from a loving place, and I'm not giving from a loving place. Does that mean that I need to spend all day reaching out to people, individual, one-on-one? No. But instead of seeing that on my phone and being frustrated that there's someone who is reaching out to me asking for basically free, like a free one-on-one reading, or just like more information on their specific loved one, when like clearly there's a lot of individuals who are seeing my readings, instead of being like, how could they do that or think that's okay, or I wouldn't do that, instead of doing that, I can just send that person love and be like, I hope that by me just sending energetic love through the phone, through the ethers, that they are able to feel a little bit of peace and calm in their life. And I wish them no ill harm. Like, that is a way that you can give and be loving without judging people. I think a lot of times once we start down this spiritual path, we can honestly sometimes have a superiority complex of like, well, I've done the work and I've, evolved in this way. And I noticed I definitely have been a person that has indulged in gossip in my lifetime. I feel like it's definitely something that I have found to be entertaining. And I definitely have done that with many friends over the years. And it's something that I am really working on, like not participating in at all. And so I've found myself when I'm in these situations where people are gossiping, I'm judging them and I'm feeling, whether I want to admit it or not, I'm feeling like I'm better than them because I'm not gossiping. And that is not loving. The loving thing to do would be to just send that person love, to understand that they're in a different place in their life, to know that I don't have to participate in that, but it doesn't make me any better. And it's just where they're at in their life. And maybe I decide that that's not necessarily a person that I want to be around a lot. That's okay. That's giving to myself. That's giving to them because they don't want a person around them that's judging them. And maybe by me distancing myself, they'll realize, like maybe I could do some things differently, or maybe they won't. But it's like this idea that we we see other people, we see them doing these things that like we don't approve of, we wouldn't do ourselves, and it creates this separation between us when really we are all connected. And I like to think of it as, imagine you are standing wherever you are in your little spot in the world, in the town that you're in the state that you're in the country that you're in. Just like imagine yourself on the map of the world, the globe, and then see how there's like your feet are standing on this grid. There's a grid underneath your feet, and you are in one specific location on that grid, living out your destiny and your path. But if you zoom out, you can see that everyone else is on the grid too. And we're all weaving our way through life, weaving this beautiful tapestry, playing these beautifully, divinely orchestrated parts for one another. And there is no such thing as someone coming into your life randomly. There is no such thing as having parents that you weren't meant to have. Like, you chose your specific family for a reason. You chose your parents for a reason. You chose your siblings for a reason. You chose your partner for a reason, all because they were meant to help you learn and grow. And your soul decided that is the path that is going to be the best for my soul to grow. And you may have a knee-jerk reaction to that if you did not grow up in the best household with the best parents or the best siblings or the best partners. And that's okay. Maybe you're not ready to hear that today, but when you are ready to hear it, it's so incredibly empowering to not look at people from a place of hate and how could you do this to me and I'm so upset with you, but look at it from a place of, okay, why is this person in my life? Why did I choose to have this person in my life? Because you chose it. So why did you choose to have this person in your life? What do they trigger inside of you? What does that bring up? What parts of yourself that you don't necessarily love come up when you are around this person or when you think about that person? And what can you do to change that about yourself? And can you also at the same time send love to that person and understand that they are playing a divinely orchestrated part in your life? And I know that that's difficult to do and probably seems very counterintuitive, especially if someone hurt you. But just by doing that, just by taking a look at it from a different perspective of, okay, why did I choose to have this person in my life? And how can I adjust my behavior and who I am to fulfill the reason why I chose to have this person in my life and send them love at the same time? Without even realizing it, you are helping their soul evolve. You don't even necessarily need to have a conversation about them with it unless you desire to and that feels right to you. But just by letting go of all that angst and anger inside of you and sending that person love, you are helping them evolve more than any sort of conversation that you could have with them about, you hurt me so badly and this is how, and let me tell you all those things. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have those conversations, but they need to come from a place of, I want to build on our relationship together. I don't want to destroy what we have further. And I think we feel like it's so important for us to tell people how they made us feel. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but you have to ask yourself, why? Why is it important that I tell this person how they made me feel? If it's to teach them a lesson, that's not from a loving place. And you may say, oh, well, I'm going to help them by like telling them what they need to change. They're not going to receive it that way, especially if you come off as defensive or emotional. Like, they are going to be defensive and emotional, and it is only going to create more space between you. If you have worked through your emotions on your own, if you have decided that, yes, I do think it will actually help to build our relationship and make it stronger to have this discussion, then by all means, you are coming from a giving place and a loving place. But if you are looking to pick a fight with someone, or especially if you are waiting on an apology from someone, you are drinking your own poison and wondering why it's making you sick. I'm going to say that one more time. If you are waiting for an apology from someone, or you think someone owes you an apology that you're not getting and you may never get, you are drinking your own poison and wondering why you feel sick. You are not helping yourself. You are not helping that person. All you are doing is keeping yourself stuck in your current reality. And the only way to move forward and move past that is to approach that person with love in your heart, whether it's from a distance or an actual interaction, and to feel a oneness with them. If you believe that you were created by some higher power, which, if you're listening to this, you probably believe in some sort of larger force, right? Whether you call that the universe, spirit, the creator, God, whatever name feels right for you. If you're listening to this, I'm assuming that you probably believe in some sort of higher power. And if you believe that, you likely believe that that higher power created you. And so you have a piece of that higher power within you because that higher power created you. And if that higher power created you, that means they also created everyone else on earth. And everyone else on earth also has a piece of the creator within them. And so we are all connected. And I think it's like this feeling of oneness can dissolve so much of the turmoil that we have in our lives if we just chose to approach people with love. And it's much easier said than done. I have historically been a very reactive person. I always would say, like, and I don't love this about myself, but it was true. So I'd say I'm kind until provoked. Like, I'm a very kind person until I feel like someone disrespects me or takes advantage of me, and then I like pounce on them and am not a nice person, and I have a quick wit and a sharp tongue, so I can really hit people where it hurts, and I don't love that about myself. But I do find that it would be something that I would struggle with quite often. And every single time I would feel terrible afterwards. I would not feel good. I don't want to snap at people. I don't want to make people feel bad about themselves. That does nothing for anyone. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't do anything for that person. Like, it just does not serve the world in any way, shape, or form. And so the first step is honestly to just realize whenever you are reacting or lashing out at someone, just notice that you're doing it. Just notice that it's a behavior that you want to change. That is all that you have to do, is the first step. And then you will start to incorporate this moment of recognition before you react, where you pause and say, I don't want to react that way. I don't want to react from a place of lashing out. I want to react from a place of love. And you will find that the more that you are able to treat the people in your life with love, the more love and light the universe and the creator will be able to pour into you. The universe wants to give us all of the light in the world, but it cannot do that unless we expand our own consciousness to make room for that light within our bodies. And every single time you show love, give love, are love, you are expanding your consciousness, expanding your vessel, and allowing more light to pour into you. And there's this like moment of realizing that you have to be the one to initiate that. So I think, last week I spoke about, I have this vision of myself once everything that I am dreaming of comes to fruition, where I'm just like feeling at peace and one with the world. And like the universe was trying to show me, we can't give you that end result until you start being that person. You want all of those things from us, and then you'll be that person. And we are telling you, we need you to be that person, and then all of those things will come. But it requires us to start the cycle. So, in order to make space for more love and light to be poured into us, we have to be the ones to start to expand our own consciousness and our own bodies and vessels to be able to handle that light. And so it's like this leap of faith that you have to take of like, okay, I really don't have to worry about the external world or the people in it providing for me in any way, shape, or form. I don't have to worry about that. The only thing that I have to do is to come from a place of love and to give love and to give unconditional love. And the universe will show me that they are going to pour that light back into me. And when you start doing this, you might find yourself shifting timelines. And I know we've talked about that before, but like in the past week, I keep experiencing these really random things where something that is always placed in one spot and it has no reason to be moved anywhere. And I haven't moved it and my husband hasn't moved it. I wake up and it's in a different spot. Or I come home from something and it's in a different spot. And it's like, did someone, some force move that? Maybe. But I see it as, oh, I'm in a different timeline. And in my timeline, that was placed here. And I don't remember it because it was a timeline that I wasn't previously in, but now I'm here. And so you'll start to pick up on these like weird things that are kind of at a place that you're like, huh. Like I was boiling, water, and I went to like turn the stove off because the water was fully boiled and the stove was already turned off. And I was like, I didn't turn it off just now, but something did. And it wasn't off the whole time because the water boiled. And so it's like these little signs from the universe to keep going, which is what my hat says right now. And to just encourage us that like, you may not see all of the things that you are dreaming of come rushing in all at once, but they're going to tweak little things within your reality to show you you are well on your way. And it's interesting. I feel like I have all of these different aspects of myself and my personality and my work and my spirituality that don't necessarily fit together. In way earlier episodes, I talked about kind of like discovering that I'm a starseed and what that means to me. But then later I wasn't really resonating with it as much because I was so connected to Mother Earth and being an earth witch, but I'm also a medium and a psychic and a podcaster and a content creator. And I sell crystals, and I'm also a wife and a daughter and a sister and a friend. And it's like, I just couldn't see how all of those different facets of my life fit together. And now that I have this feeling of oneness, it's like crazy that I couldn't see how they all fit together. Like particularly, I felt this juxtaposition between feeling like I was a starseed and getting so many messages specifically with the Pleiadians, but then also being so connected to Earth and just feeling like I am a soul of this Earth. And I just felt like those were two very competing things. Like, one is you feel like you're not really from here. Like a starseed is someone, if you don't know, it's someone whose soul originates from a constellation of stars. And I felt like I then was not from somewhere else. Like I was very much from here. And so this feeling of oneness is trying to show me, okay, not only is everyone in the globe on this tapestry, on this grid, but everything in the universe is on this tapestry and this grid as well. It's all connected all the time. And it's also connected to other dimensions too. And I've said this before, but just because someone passes away does not mean that their energy leaves this earth. They are just in a different dimension, but they are physically around us all the time. And so if you can imagine this grid crossing dimensions as well from the 3D into the 5D, then you can imagine that you are going to be much more connected to your past loved ones, to your spirit guides, to everyone who is in the 5D through this grid. And so it's a really cool practice exercise to just go outside, plant 2 feet in the ground and just imagine yourself on this grid. You can also imagine a root coming down from your root chakra through your feet all the way down into the center of the earth. Like, I know it's a really long way, but give it time. Picture that root going, hundreds of feet, thousands of feet until you reach the center of the earth. And then kind of zoom out and see how you are just one point and everyone else is a point, and we are all interwoven together, and we are all here to help each other learn and grow. And even the people that you can't stand, especially the people that you can't stand, are here to help you grow. And one thing that I remember asking Colleen, who was on one of my earliest episodes of this podcast, she's at Spiritualistic on TikTok and YouTube with a K at the end. I remember asking her because she seemed like so spiritual and like she just had everything together and she was so peaceful. And I just remember asking her, there's so much hate in the world and it's so hard to watch the news and politics, and like, how do you reconcile that? How do you stay in that higher consciousness, like knowing that that's what's going on? And she said something that I thought was really profound, but I didn't really know how to incorporate until now, which is that she sees herself as her own little universe. And so everything that she sees externally that triggers her, that's upsetting, instead of, worrying about how to change that externally, she looks inside herself and says, okay, what is this bringing up in me? What is it that I can change about myself? Or what is asking to be examined right now? And I just thought that that was so profound because there's so many things that are negative and dark and hard, and we don't want to ignore them. You don't want to be that person that ignores all of the bad things in the world, but you can look at them and say, okay, what is this bringing up for me? How can I change? And that is truly the only way that we will make lasting change in this world, is by changing ourselves. And by doing that and by being creatures of love and of light, we can affect the people around us positively, who will affect the people around them positively. And it's just like this ripple effect. Whether your actions are positive or negative, whether your attitude is positive or negative, I'm guessing you severely underestimate the impact that you have on the people around you and the impact that your energy has. And just by sending someone love energetically in your mind and in your heart, you will impact that person far more than any sort of teaching them a lesson or trying to change them will do, because that part is not our responsibility. And so if you can just trust in the universe, trust in the creator, and know that, hey, as long as I give out love and I treat myself and the people around me and the universe with unconditional love, I will continue to expand myself and expand my consciousness so that the universe and the creator can continue to pour love into me. And so I think that's really why I had to take a break and a step back from everything that I was doing um, from the past like 10 days. I haven't posted at all and really haven't been doing much work other than spiritual work. And it's not that I needed to change my path or the physical work that I was doing, but the universe wanted to say to me, like, hey, we need you to change your intention and your energy behind this, because how you're doing it right now is not sustainable. It will not fulfill you long term. You will get burnt out like you have in the past. And we are helping you to change this now so that you can continue down this path stronger than you did before. And changing our intention and our energy behind something can change everything. And it may look like the same thing to the outside world, but we know that the feeling that we have when we're doing it is so different. And sometimes you have to fake it until you make it, and that's okay. You may not have a pure intention or a loving intention, and that's okay. Fake it till you make it and ask the universe for that strength and for that wisdom to be the type of person that desires to have a different intention and that wants to have that different intention. And if you keep asking, if you keep desiring, if you keep loving, the universe will absolutely answer your prayers. So that is all that I have for you today. I know this was like a really big topic and probably one that requires much more than a half-hour podcast. But I hope that there was something in this episode that could kind of spark your feeling of oneness and inspire you to maybe take a look at some things differently in your life. Again, even though I talked about it in different terms and kind of in the setting of my own life, a lot of these concepts that I talked about did come from me studying Kabbalah. So again, I'll link that below if you're interested in learning more about it. But it's an ongoing thing for me. Like, just because I discovered this doesn't mean that it's my second nature. I have to keep practicing this and putting in effort every single day for this to be the way that I operate. And eventually it will become second nature. But it's something that is so important to me. I want to spread love and unconditional love across this earth as much as humanly possible. And I feel like this feeling of oneness with the universe and this feeling of wanting to give unconditional love truly is such a beautiful way to do that. So thank you so much for listening to me. If you enjoyed this episode, you can share it with a friend, make it your Instagram story. You can rate, review, and subscribe to the show if you haven't already. And follow me on all the socials at Guided Soul Crystals. For all of your crystal needs, you can go to guidedsoulcrystals.com. I'm wearing my Keep Going hat today and my black obsidian pendant necklace. And until next time, keep going. You are doing amazing, and I love you.